A liminal space. When was the last time you met a word that describes exactly where you are? Well, my friend Kehoto and I only throw in Kehoto because he's looking for some fame. So here it is, Kehoto. My friend Kehoto and I found this word, liminal space, that sort of just describes exactly where I am now. So what is a liminal space? A liminal space is a space between what was and next. That nexus, that space of transition, that thing that you can't quite describe. It's when you're in between jobs. And, when people ask you, what are you doing now? You can't quite say the last job, yet even if you have a prospect, you're not there yet. So that's liminal space. And I'll tell you about mine. You see, for the last almost 20 years, ironically, I've been building my dream career. I've worked in advertising, in entertainment, in corporate communications. I've been part of some of the most momentous events in this country. I've had a ball just growing this wonderful career in this sector. I even set up my own company, and with it built what you call an internal communication agency. And that was a fantastic space. It was my dream job. In fact, the dream was to build this empire, was to build this legacy. Well, I did, but it was a little empire. It was a small, it was not even an empire, it was probably just M. And my legacy, it's going to be very short-lived doing that. So, as 2020 has taught us, that you can plan for life, but life sometimes has other plans for you. And some of those are things that you bring onto yourself. Some others are orchestrated up there somewhere beyond your pay grade. And, that happened to me. I had moments where my empire, my dream, my plans didn't fall into place. In fact, I lost everything. I lost that business. I lost some titles I was very proud to hold. Everything I'd built for, at that point, about 15 years went. I did make some mistakes. So some of it was my fault. But some of it was just those guys above my pay grade. When you lose everything, you get into pain. You grieve. You need healing. Any form of loss brings sadness, and any form of sadness needs a process of healing. And in my process of healing, I found that for me, what was going to be that legacy was going to have to be founded on truth. So, I started a journey to find truth. And I started with myself. I started by finding the truth about myself, the truth about who I am, who the foundations of Amani are. And that journey led into what now is branded Living Truthfully. But we'll get to that for a second. See, now, in this, my liminal space, my space which is from what was that empire, that success, that little success. I'm moving from that, and I can see that my next is significance. So I still have a dream. I have a dream of creating safe spaces for men to find their truth, for men to speak their truth, to tell stories, their stories, with courage and without the fear of judgment and invalidation. I've heard it said, mwanaume ni effort, mwanaume ni wallet, mwanaume ni gari, I don't know what else you've had, but these things zinatu affect, zinatu choke, zinatu suffocate. The truth is, mwanaume ni ukweli. So I want to go beyond. But my going beyond is going beyond the surface of bar talk, beyond the surface of bravado, going beyond what we just showcase about ourselves, going to the depths of what our truth is. And if we find safety to speak that truth, then you create what I call safe men. And safe men mean a safe society. Living truthfully, I guess as a philosophy, is allowing yourself to be seen. The good, the bad, the ugly. And not letting any of that define you. All of us have had the opportunity of saying what's great about us. And we've heard about some of the things that are great about us. When people say you're intelligent, or you're funny, or you're handsome, or beautiful, or, those things, I call that our gold. And so your gold, I'm sure you're happy to show that. When you ask people, like in an interview situation, and you ask people, what did your friends say are some of your challenges? We often have this one narrative that we give. Like, for example, you'll say, I am impatient. But then you say, but I'm only impatient with people who don't keep time, or people who don't do their work well. That's the only time my impatience comes out. So we give this narrative that, sort of sanitizes our bad. But we'll never say the truth about what's ugly about ourselves. And the problem is we sometimes believe these sanitized versions of ourselves. I had to face myself. I had to face my gold and what I call my shadow. My shadows are those things that you hide, those things that you deny, those things that you suppress. Those things about you that you don't want the world to see. But they don't go away. Just because you've hidden them, because you've denied them, or you've suppressed them, doesn't mean they're not there. They're like a shadow, right here, somewhere, always lurking, and always being part of your narrative. Mine was anger. I was never allowed to show anger. I hid, denied, and suppressed anger all my life. But when I started being able to express this anger, I realized that I was able to express other emotions, including love, joy, and happiness. Because you don't learn how to suppress one. You learn how to suppress all of them. Living truthfully is actually allowing people to see that and not letting it define you. Because I'm not necessarily the person I am when I'm angry. I am everything that I have to give, my gold and my shadows. So I'm going beyond what's comfortable, beyond fear, to find true masculinity in vulnerability. And I want to encourage you to do the same. And how do you do that? By living truthfully. Thank you.